If you are studying abroad in Barcelona, are planning to come study here for any time period, I have a lot of tips to give for students coming for 2026 and beyond. I have the personal knowledge of this, so I thought I'd like to share some of my thoughts, and because it's always good to hear from different people, their experiences and what they thought and different things like that. So this is kind of my first kind of general, just like what to bring. If you're thinking about what to pack, because it is hard if you're just going to do one suitcase or two. You probably don't want to do more than that. I wouldn't recommend, because you'll probably end up buying a couple things just from being here for a while and your other traveling that you're probably going to do here. So I wouldn't bring too much. And if you do forget something, pretty much everything is available here to buy. If you forgot like a lotion or a jacket or a scarf or an umbrella or something, it's all very easy to buy, so definitely don't worry about that as well. But I have my list here. I'm gonna be looking down because I don't want to forget it. I studied abroad here when I was at university or college for 6 months, and then now I've currently been living here for about a year and a half as a working adult. But I wanted to go back and kind of give my advice, because I know when I was in school, thankfully my school had a program where you could ask former students questions, and they would, like a round table, they would do a big event every year before you left, about like what to bring and practicalities about different things, and just kind of a good general knowledge like housing and things like that. And so I've kind of updated it also now from my experience here, and just a few different things that have changed since I've been here. And first I wanted to go and compare credit cards versus cash. Most places here now accept credit cards, so you really don't have to worry about cash when you're here. There are some places that will have a minimum you have to spend to use a credit card, but it's normally only 2 or 3 euros. And most of the time you're going to be spending more than that probably, unless you're just buying a water bottle or something. But it really just depends. But I wouldn't worry really about cash. You could bring a little if you want to, but I wouldn't worry about it too much while you're here. Most people, and most of us nowadays, we all have credit cards and Apple Pay, so that's just easy. And most places here have the credit card machine, so you can pay with the card, and it's really not a problem. So that's something I wouldn't worry about. But if you do need cash here, the ATMs and the banks are now super expensive. Their exchange rates suck. It's way higher than what's listed online, especially coming from the US. If you're going to be exchanging US dollars to euros, they're a lot more expensive. Their exchange rates are going to be higher. And also the bank or ATM here and your bank ATM in the US are both going to charge you fees as well. So you're probably going to get $25, $30 in fees to withdraw cash, no matter how much you take out. So I really wouldn't recommend it. But if something does happen, all your credit cards stop and you do need cash, what I recommend is Western Union. I've used this a couple times to get cash. So you can have somebody in the US, so probably a parent or a close family member, they can send you money, and then you pick it up. They validate everything on your passport, and they can see it on their end too when it's been picked up. The most you can send is 1,000 per month, or 3,000 for the 3 months. There is a time limit, but you probably wouldn't need more than that, because your rent and everything is probably going to be paid electronically. But if you do need cash, that is the best option. Their exchange rate is pretty much what it should be online, and there's only a €5 fee, so you're not going to get all those other fees and things that the banks would charge. So I definitely recommend this. But if you're going to be taking over €1,000, it does take about a week to process, so you kind of do have to plan it ahead of time. But they do have an express option. I think you can pay another €5 or so and try and get it faster. Something really was happening, that is an option as well. But that's what I recommend if you're able to do that. Sometimes if you just need cash or something bad happens, you can go to the ATM, but just expect a lot of fees. But credit cards here are definitely the way to go, and Apple Pay is easy as well. But what you want to make sure is that you don't have a credit card with foreign transaction fees. So if you can bring one or two, or use one that doesn't have the fees, that obviously will be best, because or else you might have a 1 or 2% fee from your bank, which isn't too bad, because you probably won't be spending too much money here, but it does add up if you're, buying things regularly, which you probably will. So that is definitely something to look into before you come. Also, when you're here and you're paying by credit card, you always want to pay in euros, because a lot of the machines will ask euro or US dollar if you're coming from the US. And the reason for that is whatever machine or system is charging the credit card is going to have a higher exchange rate than what your bank will exchange on the credit card. So you always want to choose euro. You never want to pay in USD. It's just a better exchange rate. It's just the way to do it. The better thing to do to save a little bit of money. Pretty much all I have for credit cards. I would also recommend bringing two, just in case one gets lost, or one, sometimes, you know, when you go to another country, the bank, you know, sometimes it'll be slow or whatever. I definitely recommend bringing two just in case, and keep them separate. So if something gets stolen or lost, you have two options just to be safe as well. And you can also withdraw from ATMs cash with a credit card as long as your bank allows it. You don't have to have the debit card. So that's another thing to consider and think about as well while you're here. Next, we'll talk about clothing. I think a lot of people have questions on, you know, the type of weather and what people wear in Europe. There is still a huge misconception, and I still see videos posted about it all the time, about, oh, Europeans don't wear athletic wear outside. If you wear tennis shoes or workout stuff, you're super American. No, that is a total lie. If anybody says that, they are 100% lying to you. The only group of people I haven't really seen in workout clothes outside of the gym are people like over about 60 or 70. They're the only ones who you really don't see them in any type of athleisure wear or anything. But athleisure, like the US, if you're coming from the US especially, it is very common here. Like they have Oysho, they have Lululemon, you can get Aloe online. Like people wear athleisure a lot. I mean, people here in general do dress nicer than in the US, but a lot of people do here still wear like athleisure wear, comfortable, so you don't have to worry about bringing all these fancy things and whatever. It's really not necessary. And then next, if you're coming starting in January or in the winter time, end of January through early March is definitely the coldest. It probably is. The couple of times I've been here in that time period is definitely the coldest it's going to be. So probably when you first arrive, if you're coming in January, till about the first week of March is going to be the coldest. So you definitely want a jacket. Most days it's around 50-ish Fahrenheit. And then at nights, depending if it's a really cold night, it could drop down into the 30s. There's no snow here or anything, but it can get cooler. So definitely bring at least one kind of warmer jacket that you can wear, or if it's lighter, you know, stuff you can layer underneath for warmth. I would also recommend like a scarf too. A lot of people wear that, helps keep you warmer too. If your jacket doesn't go up to your neck or everything, you kind of cover yourself in your head. You can bring like a beanie or gloves as well. But normally if you have a mix of those things, you'll be able to stay generally warm. Most of the places where you're staying is probably going to have a heater, or heaters here are pretty cheap if you do need to buy one. They're about 15 euros for extra, but every like store, public transit, restaurants, everything is heated here. So you really don't have to worry about being cold when you're out somewhere. It's mainly just when you're outside, like commuting to and from the different places. One stereotype that is pretty true here though is you will be walking a lot. Especially if you come from most places in the US, you probably haven't been walking much unless you have lived in like New York or Chicago, which are pretty much the only two good public transit cities in the US. You probably don't walk a lot, so you definitely want to bring comfortable shoes you can walk in. I'd say at minimum, if you can walk in something 1 to 2 hours, it's best. Because if you're just walking to the bus or walking to the metro or anything like that, you're going to be walking a lot, you know, and especially if you're new here, you want to explore and try all these different things and do as much as you can while you're here. A lot of schools also put on, you know, walking tours and different things while you're here. So you definitely want to bring comfortable shoes. You can definitely wear tennis shoes out. I wear tennis shoes out a lot all the time, just regular day-to-day walking, and you will see a lot of people in tennis shoes as well. It's super common here. You don't have to worry about that. If you want to go a little nicer, you know, you could wear like a nicer type of sneaker, like an Adidas or a Puma, or, you know, kind of that look that's not like a workout shoe, but still a comfortable tennis shoe That is super common here as well. When you're going out is probably the only time you're gonna have to wear something maybe a little bit like nicer, but it's really not that strict here. There are a couple places where they're a little more judgmental on your outfit, but as long as you kind of look nice and put together, you don't have to wear heels out unless you want to. You do see some women out in heels, but the only thing you have to consider with heels is you're probably gonna have to take a taxi or cab to and from, so you will have to spend more money. So you'll just have to decide. But a lot of students, like when I was here and even now, we normally take public transit to go places or walk and stuff like that. So you definitely want something comfortable in to go out. So you can do a heel, but just be careful about anything too uncomfortable, or else you're gonna have to spend a ton of money on cabs and things like that. But a lot of other good shoes you can wear, like loafers, you know, they can look really nice. You can take them day to night. So you can wear them, you know, regular day to day, and also to go out at night. They look nice for men and women to kind of dress up or down. For women, also ballet flats, another good option. They look nice during the day. Your feet are covered when because it's a little cooler here right now. And then you can wear them out at night as well. Those are definitely probably your best options for this time of year. Obviously, once it gets hot, you can wear sandals, and there's a ton of different types of sandals and nice sandals nowadays. So, but you probably don't have to worry about that too much right now, unless you just need to bring a pair to shower or anything like that. Or if you go to a gym and want to use the spa or locker rooms, then you might need just a regular pair. But for the most part, those are the shoes I would recommend. Also boots, like knee-high boots or kind of mid-length boots. They're great shoes to do day to night. You know, you can just wear them with regular clothes if you're just going to school. And then if you want to go out at night, they normally look nice with a lot of outfits as well. And just in general, when it comes to clothing and shoes, most places are pretty casual. They're not judging you. The only place you're going to get judged on an outfit is some types of clubs. But as long as you look nice and pulled together, like, you're pretty much fine. They always say dress nice, this and that, whatever. Most of the time it's pretty easy. You don't need to go extreme for it or anything like that. That's kind of the style here. I think it's kind of very beach vibe too as well, and just how the community is here. So you normally don't need anything like super crazy fancy or anything like that. Some practical things just to close it off, other to like bring here. I would definitely recommend like any medication prescription wise you might need. You probably already know this, but make sure you get, you know, if you're going to stay the full 6-month visa, or, you know, possibly long, there is, you know, a 2-year student visa, but you'll probably go home at some point, but make sure you have enough of that. Other medication is really easy and pretty inexpensive to get here as well. So if you get sick and need ibuprofen, or, you know, some cold medicine, or even like a Tums or Pepto-Bismol if you get something in your stomach, or, you know, if you get cut and need an ointment or anything like that, it's super easy to get here, all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. You could obviously bring a little bit if you have some to start, but it's very easy to buy. The pharmacies are open 7 days a week. So I really wouldn't worry too much about that kind of stuff. Next, of course, as we all know, a portable charger. You're probably going to be out a lot exploring when you're not in classes in school. So that's definitely something important to bring. I have one that has the cords attached to it. So then you don't even have to worry about bringing cords. You just plug it in, charge it. You can plug in other, if you have like an Apple Watch or some other thing. And then, but these, pretty much everything that most of us need nowadays to charge different things. I still use it all the time. Here, if I know we're going to be out for a while or go hiking or out all day, and you're taking a lot of pictures and stuff, you know, it's just really nice to have and an option as well. And then kind of what I had mentioned earlier with the credit cards is definitely bring don't just bring one, definitely bring 2, just in case something happens. You never know. Of course, you know, keep them separate for security reasons and things like that. But that's what I would definitely recommend for something else to bring and think about while you're here. Just to have and be safe. But most of the time, I think now international travel and things like that are much more common, and businesses, banks, credit cards are a lot, you know, easier and better with that too. Also for your phone, a lot of phone companies nowadays have international plans that you can pay for or add on to your phone already. or when you get here, you can get travel eSIM, which is what I do here. All the big companies have it, Vodafone, Orange, and depending on how much data you want, because there isn't really like unlimited, but I never use up the one I have. But I pay 20 euros a month, and it has, you know, you get a Spanish phone number, but most people here use WhatsApp. And then you get calling and texting on that. And then I get a certain amount of data, and I use it a lot. Like when I'm on the buses or public transit, I watch TikToks or YouTube or whatever, and I've never even come close to using my data. They do have cheaper plans. I think the cheapest is 10, but I don't know how much data that includes. So I think it depends how much you want. There is a ton of public Wi-Fi, but I think if you're just kind of out, you don't have to worry about it. It depends. So look at how much your phone back in the US charges, and then how much the plans are here. They're open every single day but Sunday. Most of them, there might be some locations that are open on Sunday, but you just, for the first time, you just go in, they install it on your phone. You can just recharge it online through your credit card or in person if you want, every 28 days. So it's super easy, very affordable, starts at 10 euros. I think the most expensive one is like 40 or so, but I don't think you would need that, honestly. It's probably too much. So that is definitely an option too, depending on how much your phone charges back home for the international plans, because some of them can be more expensive depending on, you know, what carrier you have and what plan you're on and different things like that. So those are kind of the basics of like clothing, credit cards, transportation, your phone, different things you might need just to think about and consider when you're first coming here. I'm going to be doing a whole series on all different things like getting to and from the airport and how to do weekend trips and pickpocketing and all these different things, because there's a lot of information in each topic and I want to kind of go through. If there's any other specific questions or videos you guys have questions on and want me to make, just leave them in the comments below, and I'm definitely open to doing things like that. I'm sure there's other things I missed, you know, I don't know everything. And it's also good too to talk to different types of people too who have come here, because I think experiences can be different depending on your program. So take what I say and anyone else with a grain of salt. And it's just one of those things you'll learn when you get here. So at least for the basics, you kind of have a good general knowledge, and then you can kind of figure out your way and your different types of things depending on what you want to do and how you want your experience to be when you're here. But I hope this helps when you're getting ready to come to Barcelona, and stay tuned for the rest of the series.